What's up, everyone? This is M Hags Art back with another monthly bullet journal plan with me. My theme for this month is like Parks and Recreation meets back to school Y2K vibes. It's very colorful and random and kind of weird, but be sure to watch to the end of the video, press that like button, and leave a comment below so we can defeat the algorithm YouTube gods together. While you're at it, subscribe if you haven't already done so you don't miss any of my monthly plan with me's, which are all based on my favorite TV shows and movies. Alright, that's enough annoying YouTube prattle for one day. Let's get on with the video. Coming into September, I was in the mood to do a simpler theme this month, but I was also in the mood to use my zebra mild liners and do something super colorful since last month I was using a very limited color palette. I think I was inspired to use mild liners because this month I start school again and highlighters fit in with that back to school vibe. Maybe this is my subconscious trying to tell me that I need to get mentally prepared to go back to school, because so far I've just been in denial. Anyway, for the quote page and cover page, I drew some doodles that come from the show, so see if you can guess what each reference is. For the quote, I went with one of my favorite Leslie quotes. We need to remember what's important in life. Friends, waffles, and work. Or waffles, friends, work. It doesn't matter, but work is third. Which is a great reminder to not let work be the most important thing in your life. Then, of course, I drew some waffles with whipped cream, since Leslie loves whipped cream on her waffles. Then my cat Edison stopped by to say hi before I moved on to my important dates page. The last few months I drew a calendar as part of my monthly setups, but I would literally mess up on it every single time, so even if I sketched it out beforehand, I would somehow mess it up, so I went back to doing important dates because it's much harder to mess up and much easier to create. Then I also had a content planner and some goals, which I think I'm going to make super basic this month. Last month I started doing a sleep tracker along with my mood tracker, and I really enjoyed it. I've never been a good sleeper, so it's really interesting to see the patterns I fall into, and I'm hoping it'll help me get on a better sleep schedule as I start school. Then I made my habit tracker page, which is kind of a hot mess, to be honest. But you know, that's part of bullet journaling, is learning to roll with your mistakes, or the ugly. First, I stamped my calendars really crooked and uneven. Then, to fill in the blank space on the side, I tried doing some calligraphy, and I think I finally accepted that I'm not someone who can do calligraphy, and I don't think I ever will be. Like, I'm much better at bubble letters and other fonts than I am anything remotely cursive. My hands just don't work that way, I guess. Anyway, I covered up the failed calligraphy with my Posca paint pen and some washi tape, and it doesn't look that terrible afterward. Next up is my first weekly spread, and I've decided to go back to the traditional weekly spreads. I was previously doing just like a rolling weekly to-do list, but sometimes I find there are days where I want to write down everything I have to do, no matter how small the task. So it does help to have that designated space to do that every day if I want to. For the boxes, I do these different types of lines with the mild liners just to make it look more interesting. And this is where it definitely starts to have that back to school Y2K vibe. I didn't feel like doing a Parks and Rec doodle every week since I already did a bunch on the cover page, but the shorter weeks I did include some iconic Parks and Rec quotes to fill in the extra space, and then I finished off with some washi tape. Because the first week is shorter, I figured I would show you also how I set up one of my full weeks. I usually do this all in advance, so that way I don't have to worry about it throughout the month, and they're all ready for me to start planning as far ahead as I need. I switched up the colors and patterns for each of the boxes for each week, so they would be different. Because there are so many amazing and hilarious quotes from Parks and Rec that I love, I decided to do an entire page dedicated to some of my favorite quotes. This was such a fun page to make. I really just allowed myself to relax and have fun with it. And honestly, when I was done, I was kind of sad that I hadn't done this before for some of my other monthly themes like The Office or Schitt's Creek. Also, I apologize, I was in such a zone making this quote page that I didn't notice the sun starting to creep in, but I noticed eventually and shut the blinds, so it wasn't as distracting. It was really hard to decide what quotes to put on this page because there are so many good ones. I don't even think I have a favorite amongst them all, because so many either make me laugh or there's actually a good amount too that are just good inspiration or mottos for life, like the one I chose for my quote page next to my cover page. Or I also, the Ron Swanson quote, never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. I feel like that's a pretty good life motto as well, and kind of funny at the same time, you know, of course, because it's Ron says it in his Ron Swanson way. Next to the quote page, I put my media tracker where I write down all of the media I consume that month. I thought it would be fun to leave lots of blank space so that I can write down titles of everything in different colors all around it, so it looks like the quote page. I decided to do a whole page for gratitude because I'm trying to be more positive and focus on the good things in my life and, you know, work on my mental health as always. And because I felt like I needed another doodle, but didn't know what else to draw, I drew another stack of waffles because why not? I love waffles, maybe not as much as Leslie, but I do love waffles. Then I'm also making a highlights page to write down some memories from the month that, again, will help me focus on the positive. Last but not least is my review page, which I like to include in all my monthly setups. I like to reflect on everything that has happened at the end of each month, and I'm still trying to find a setup and questions that I like to use for my monthly reviews, so this page does change a lot month to month as I'm trying to figure that out. Since this is the last month I can fit in this bullet journal, I thought it would be cute to include a little goodbye page. And of course I had to make it a reference to Parks and Rec, so I drew everyone's favorite mini horse, well, besides Ben, Little Sebastian, and the quote, "Bye bye, Little Sebastian." After I drew this page, I had that song stuck in my head for like 3 days. Which I guess I shouldn't complain because it is a great song. So that concludes my setup for September 2021. I hope you enjoyed this weird mix of Parks and Recreation meets like early 2000s back to school aesthetic. It's probably one of my weirdest setups I've done so far, but it's grown on me. I want to continue with my TV shows and movies themes, but I think it would be fun to combine them with other things or aesthetics every once in a while like this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this far if you have, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so that the YouTube algorithm knows you enjoyed this video and it'll recommend it to more people. It's a really huge help to small YouTubers like me. As I mentioned before, this is the last month I fit in my current bullet journal, which is a bullet journal by Amanda Reach Lee. So I'll be posting my full flip through of all my themes for January through September of 2021. I'll be posting a full video of that sometime soon. And I think I'll include like a mini review on the Amanda Rachel dotted notebook in case you're curious hearing my thoughts on it for using it almost, 9 months now. So definitely look forward to that. Alright, that is all for now. So don't forget to drink lots of water, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you next time.